Good evening and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to discuss the kingdom Plantae, or the kingdom of plants. Now the kingdom Plantae, they divided into three major phyla, and this phyla then be one Talophyta. This Talophyta, waiting inside this Talophyta now red algae, green algae and brown algae. These are the organisms wey dey for inside the phylum wey we dey call Talophyta. The second one na Bryophyta. So, or bryophytes, bryophyta or bryophyte. You know, so if you say bryophytes, that one na English, but if you want to talk for science, you will say bryophyta. Now, this bryophyta, the organisms wey dey there na majorly liverworts and mosses. Now, the different plants wey dey inside the phylum Bryophyta. The third phylum na the phylum Tracheophyta. Now, these ones na the highest level of plants, and na plants wey carry wetin we dey refer to as vascular bundles. Now, these are plants wey bin get stem, roots, and they get different structures such as xylem and phloem wey they dey use transport different materials all over the plants. This one dey important to note. So as plants dey now, we get the kingdom Plantae wey bin cover all the plants wey dey as organisms, and we can divide that kingdom into three major phylum. The first one na Talophyta, the second one na Bryophyta, and the third one na Tracheophyta. Now for this video, we will discuss Bryophyta and Tracheophyta for other videos. But for this video, we will do the first phylum will be Talophyta. Now that phylum we will discuss. Now this phylum Talophyta get three different groups where they under the phylum Talophyta. Now these three different groups now Rhodophyta, Chlorophyta, and Phaeophyta. It is important to note wetin dey inside these three groups. Now, Rhodophyta, they made up majorly of the organisms or the plants wey we dey refer to as red algae. Red algae na wetin we dey call the plants wey dey for this group wey we dey call Rhodophyta. And a very good example of this red algae na organism wey we dey call nori species. Na an example. We also get coralline algae. This one na species of plants wey we dey refer to as red algae, and all of them dey inside Rhodophyta. E dey important to know. The second group wey dey under this Talophyta na our Chlorophyta. Na them be the most common ones wey we know. An example, we dey also refer to them as green algae. And different examples wey dey there include our Chlamydomonas species, our Spirogyra species, and our Volvox. E dey important to note these organisms and know say these organisms dey dey together under the group wey we dey refer to as Chlorophyta. This one dey important. Then the third group na Phaeophyta. Phaeophyta na them we dey refer to as the brown algae. The brown algae, and a very good example na organisms wey we dey call kelps. Kelps na organisms wey be brown algae. Now we go discuss for Talophyta when we look at some of the characteristics wey the Talophyta bin get. These characteristics dey important to note. Now the first thing to note then I say most of or even all of the organisms wey dey for this Talophyta, dem be simple, many of them be simple microscopic plants, meaning say na microscope we go use to view these plants. We no fit see them with our naked eyes. Many of them then dey microscopic in nature. Now some of them dey unicellular. That means say na only one single cell the whole organism be. An example na Chlamydomonas species. Na only one single cell the whole organism dey. While some of them dey multicellular in nature. A very good example na Spirogyra. Spirogyra dey multicellular in nature. Now if you look at that Spirogyra, you look say we dey call am filamentous algae because e dey inside structures wey we dey call filaments. So many cells go dey together inside that singular structure wey we dey call filaments. Now many times you fit go for water body like river and you go see those green algae wey dey float. Now that thing wey you dey see, wey you fit see with your naked eyes, na thousands and thousands of cells wey dey, because say dem dey very plenty, you fit see them with your naked eye, but you no go fit see the single cell with your naked eye. To see that single cell, you need to take that green algae, carry am go mount on top microscope. If you mount am for microscope, you go come fit view all the different cells wey dey inside Spirogyra. That one dey very important to note. Another good thing to note na say dem be simple aquatic organisms. Dem be aquatic plants, and they very simple. All these talophyta, now remember say we dey talk about the characteristics of talophyta. So all these plants, they know they get roots, they know they get stem, and na simple organisms dem be. Another important thing to note na say we remember say they be plant cells, and we don discuss the difference wey dey inside animal cells and plant cells. And one thing wey we don note na say the plant cells dey get cellulose for their cell wall. E get cellulose, and so many times they refer to them as having cellulose cell wall. This one dey very important to note, because say they be plant cells, they get cellulose cell wall. Now algae dey many of the algae wey we dey look at or wey we dey study, one of their features na say dem be autotrophic organisms, which means say they get the ability to produce their own food by themselves, and they use the process which we dey call photosynthesis. Photosynthesis dey very important because na process where organism go use energy wey dey for inside sunlight, e go trap that energy, come use that energy to use produce glucose wey e go store. E go store that glucose for im body in the form of starch, and many plants dey do this. And our algae, our talophyta, many of them dey do this process, and e dey important to note. Now some algae dey filamentous in nature, and many of their cells no dey differentiate to go tissue level. We don discuss before the different organization of life, where we been know say cells dey come from tissue. If they differentiate, organize themselves together, they go go from cells, they go form tissue, from tissue they go form organ, from organ they go form system, before they go form the main organism. Now but we know say different organisms, some organisms dey stay for a particular level, they no go graduate to another level. Now we need to know say this algae, they no dey comot for the cellular level, they no dey differentiate go tissue level, they dey remain for the cellular level. They no get any specialized reproductive structure or organ, and the method wey they use reproduce majorly na binary fission, but some of them dey fit undergo sexual reproduction using the process of conjugation. And anytime wey we discuss conjugation, we know say na system wey be say cells go come together, and these cells go exchange genetic materials, and if they don exchange genetic materials over a little period of time, a new organism go dey formed from this exchange of genetic material. Now we will end this class by just listing out some of the organisms wey dey under this phylum wey we dey call talophyta. We get organisms such as Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas, e dey unicellular in nature. We get Spirogyra, wey dey filamentous in nature, and we get Volvox, wey dey exist in colonies. Now e dey important to know that all these organisms, as a student you suppose sabi how to draw these organisms. So for all these videos, I would like to put the diagrams of all these organisms, all these plants, anything wey we discuss, we go put the diagram, put am with correct labeling, so that the plan na say as you dey watch this thing, from time to time you go pause the video, you wey be student, pause that video, look at that structure, get your sheet of paper, you fit draw that structure, label am very correctly, then you go know say you dey learn from all these videos wey we dey put out. Thank you for watching all these videos. I dey encourage una to dey share this video, to like our comments, to subscribe to our channel, so as to dey give us encouragement to continue this good work wey we dey do. Thank you for listening to this video, and have a wonderful day.